Hey everybody, the Bong is here ready to give you another episode of Weekly Q&A. So, if you have any questions to ask me, if you haven't already done so, feel free to do so in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them next week. So let's get started. Lonnie Strickland says, are you going to LP any of the other Final Fantasy games or Golden Sun Dark Dawn? Well, that's a bit of a separation between either Final Fantasy games or Golden Sun Dark Dawn. Well, I did do the other two Golden Sun games like a couple years ago, and because, DS emulation is an extreme crapshoot for Golden Sun Dark Dawn to the fact it doesn't work, and my friend does have a 3DS capture card, Golden Sun Dark Dawn could be on the table. However, I would like to do some more like fine tweaking with the testing and all that kind of stuff to make sure it actually comes out good. As for Final Fantasy games, I do have Final Fantasies like 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, and 12. But I'm still going to hold off on them for like a much bigger occasion. Maybe 15,000 subscriber special, who knows. But I'm not in any rush to do any other Final Fantasy games, even though it's been a long time since I did 6 Advance. Hope you guys understand that, because I got other projects to do. Lakeo says, do you have plans to do other Metroid games like the Prime series or Fusion and Zero Mission, or more Zelda games? Twilight Princess is actually coming up shortly. In fact, I did a nice bit of footage. I think I just recently cleared the first dungeon, so I don't want to get too much footage out of the way. Otherwise, it's just going to be another Paper Mario incident where I actually finished the entire game before I even uploaded Part 1. But that game was just so good, how could I resist? As for Metroid games, I already did Zero Mission and Fusion. Prime is still, a potential Let's Play in the future. And I also got Prime 3 and Other M. I don't want to get Prime 2 Echoes yet, until I know that I'm Let's Playing the Prime series. If I am doing those games, then I will consider looking for Prime 2. I don't have the trilogy because that's very expensive and hard to get. That would have been nice, though, and made things a lot easier, get all 3 games on one disc, but I guess that's not happening anytime soon unless I'm super rich. Dying Worthlessly 666 says, "Aw, come on, everybody's got value when they die. Dear Bonga, would you be able to do these Q&A things on Twitch sometime, or possibly even live stream in general? Signed, your fan who got into LPing due to your channel." Well, I'm glad I was able to inspire someone to do their own Let's Plays. As for doing these Q&As on Twitch or live streaming, I'm still a bit iffy on that, and it has nothing to do with Twitch's new policies ever since Google bought them. It's just that it's hard to find the time to stream them, and when I got time, it's in a general time period where it's not that reliable to most of my fan base. For example, if I got time to stream in the early morning, that means my European fans would be happy, but my fans in North America and Canada would still be asleep. Or they'd have to get up super early just to watch a stream, and they don't want to do that. So that's why it's hard to find that delicate balance in defining when I'm going to stream, or what I'm going to stream. It's just that simple. The Sephiroth Spirit says, have you considered doing a Let's Play of Okami? It was in one of your polls once, but it didn't get too far. Actually, Okami was in quite a couple polls and still never got that far. Though, I got the game, so it's a potential for me to do it. It's just a matter of when. You're going to see a theme for most of these questions, because most of the questions I got early were will you Let's Play this or that? Alright, so Fresh Ink Hero Let's Play says, is it okay to do short Let's Play videos instead of, say, 20 or 30 minute videos? I am curious because I don't have a lot of time. Well, you could pretty much do video length of pretty much any length, actually. Maybe 5-minute intervals, 10-minute intervals, or go to an hour if you want to. Just make sure you pay attention to your fan base to see, what their, attention span is. If they are more in tune to 10-minute videos, do those. Or, depending on what segment of the game you're in. If it requires, a long time for you to get to, you can consider, breaking it up into, separate videos from there. If you got, an hour-long recording session, split it up into 2, depending on where you're at. That would make things a little bit easier. Alright, Chaos also asks, Last, would you consider doing like Super Metroid ROM hacks? The answer is, well, it depends. Like, there are some ROM hacks that are actually pretty good with Super Metroid. Others are just an extreme crapshoot where you pretty much have to sequence break in order to survive. I'm not that great at sequence breaking, such as, bomb jumping. Wall jumping I'm getting better as, but if I have to constantly do bomb jumping or shine sparking, it's probably something I would not be into. Goran Sakic says, are you going to Let's Play any original Xbox games? Likely no, because I don't have an original Xbox. My sister's boyfriend has an Xbox 360, but all he does is play World of Tanks all day on it. And I don't think he had any classic Xbox games, so it's likely no. Anime Manga Gamer says, in the Dynasty Warriors series, who are your favorite Jin characters to play as? That's an interesting question, because Jin does not come into the Dynasty Warriors series until 7 or 8. But out of those characters, I would probably say Sima Zhao is awesome to play as because he has a cool personality. And I do like his swords and his EX attack where he can actually surf on enemies. That's actually pretty cool and fits into his style. Other characters I like playing as is Zhong Wei because he has these flying swords and he can get a lot of fast attacks with them. Plus, he's a bit arrogant, and I kind of like his style because even if he loses, he's still very snide about it. Characters from Jin that I don't like playing as would probably be Xiahou Ba or Guo Hai because their weapons are slow. But Xiahou Ba's Musou is pretty cool even though it's very hard to control because it's basically a spear that works like a rocket. And Guo Hai's Musous are pretty bad because they're powerful, but he collapses because he's so sick all the time. So those are the things that I pay attention to. I don't like strong and slow characters. I prefer characters that can get a lot of quick strikes in. Ryan Bragg says, do you plan to LP Final Fantasy VII? It's been a while since you did FF6. Well, I got the PC version of Final Fantasy VII. However, I would much prefer to borrow the PlayStation 1 version because it'll be a little bit more traditional. ColonL112 says, have you ever thought about actually LPing a tactical RPG during any point in the past of the LPing career? Or consider them in the future? Definitely not Fire Emblem because I'd be pretty bad at this, with permadeath and stuff. Shining Force maybe, because I've seen some LPs of it, such as Cole's for instance. But Ogre Battle would also be another thing I'd consider. Like, I'd have to pay attention to that kind of tactical game to see if it actually fits with my style. Otherwise, I'll just avoid it like the plague. Brad Sutton says, are you going to LP Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the Fighting Edition and Power Rangers Samurai for the Wii? To be honest, I don't know. I mean, yes, there is a Fighting Edition on the Super Nintendo where you can actually Let's Play with the Zords and stuff. But, I'm going to hold off on them because fighting games aren't exactly great for me. And as for Power Rangers Samurai, I don't think I've even seen that game, even like a previously played version. Might have to look into that sometime in the future. Bolt Lightning A says, when you begin Let's Plays, do you do research on the games before you begin? Or is it based on past experiences with the game you are familiar, or you look up stuff somewhere along the playthrough? I do tend to do my fair share of research just to make sure that I'm not messing up the story. Just these simple things that commenters would probably get a little nitpicky over. And even if I played a game very well, like an RPG such as Final Fantasy VI Advance, I do like to look stuff up just in case there's actually those little certain things that I missed. Like, invisible chests are hidden in the background, certain weaknesses that bosses could have that I would not think of, like a certain status element, like poison or sleep, that I would never think of trying because you would think, oh, it's a boss character, it would not work. Only to find out it actually does work makes your life a hell of a lot easier. So a little bit of research does go a long way to make things a lot better for you, and who knows, your fan base might find out something new and actually subscribe to you because of it. Fireman21134 says, what are your thoughts about the upcoming Hyrule Warriors game for the Wii U, and what do you look forward to most about the game? Also, which character do you look forward to play as the most? That's actually an interesting question, because I did pre-order Hyrule Warriors a few days ago, after I was picking up other things for like the Newfoundland Gaming Expo that's coming up on the 23rd and 24th. I was picking up some door prizes for them. As for just, like anybody that's going can win some prizes. But I didn't pick up like a hell of a lot, just a couple things like cards for like gamers to actually get some stuff. And I did pre-order Hyrule Warriors game for like $10. Well, that's the minimum you could put down. I might put down the rest of it later on, or just pay for the rest of it whenever the game comes out. But I am very excited about how the gameplay is going to work. The map system looks very similar to Dynasty Warriors 8, but in a Zelda environment, that would be very interesting. What do I look forward most? Probably the adventure mode, where you're actually on the traditional Zelda map and you got to fulfill certain criteria to get some things. Maybe the ultimate weapons can be attained there, like you have to do it in hard mode, have to do a specific mission, same as you would in the Dynasty Warriors games. That would be pretty interesting. Character I look forward to play as the most? Actually Zelda, because she has that rapier. She might be using the light arrows, and that just gives her like a whole lot of dynamic styles. Girahim, Ganondorf, Lana would be other characters I love to play as. Not sure about Darunia because I was never that big on like heavy weapon characters, so I think he's a faster character compared to other characters in the Dynasty Warriors series that use heavy weapons. So I'm really looking forward to that game as a whole. Hector Doohammer says, a couple of questions. I saw that you're Yu-Gi-Oh! For the GameCube on several of your special lists that always get voted out. If you really want to do that game, why not just do it? I mean, it has been on years since you last did a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on that channel. Well, that is true. And in fact, I'm highly considered doing that Let's Play outside of a subscriber special, just so it would not show up on these specials again. And number 2, is there a chance that instead of a Q&A question, you showcase your games collection? Probably not in a weekly special, but in a rare instance, I might show it off once my game collection looks a little bit better. 3, do you like RTS games such as Command & Conquer and Red Alert series? I do. In fact, I have Command & Conquer the first decade, where I can play the original Command & Conquer to Generals. Never played much of Generals because I find that it really overheats my computer a little bit too much, even though it's not that powerful compared to other games such as now. Though I did love the hell out of the Red Alert series, especially Red Alert 2. That was probably one of my favorites of that series. 4, and last, which of the 7 deadly sins do you represent, and why do you think that? Probably either pride or lust. Pride because sometimes I get a little cocky or annoyed if I have to get help from people because I feel like I have to do this by myself. And lust because, hey, I like women. And I tend to know what I like about women. Like if you got like a blonde, a brunette, redhead, I'm usually all over that. Or if they got a nice bit of tattoos or piercings. So that's the part of the lust side of me. Even though I mostly dig women for their personalities, if they have some physically attractive traits, that tends to get me going. But not in like a sexual predator kind of way. I'm not that kind of guy. Can't believe I actually ever had to utter that on my channel in some shape or form. Paul Province says, what's a game you would never, ever play on your channel? Definitely Dragon's Lair for the NES. That game is horrifically bad. If there's a game where you die touching a door, that is something you want to avoid. Taju22 says, well, thanks for answering my question from the previous Q&A. Who is the next big Let's Player star in the making in your eyes? I tend to not have, a name that comes to mind. Well, maybe LP Grotus, because he does, a lot of variety in games, and he puts a nice bit of work into them, which is what I really like. Epic Deadness says, can you please play another Dynasty Warriors game, preferably Dynasty Warriors 5? Maybe, but not for another few months, because, my first game, Dynasty Warriors 4, took 125 videos, and I did do Extreme Legends of 4, the Legend mode, and that took 42 videos. It would get a bit too oversaturated if I did another Dynasty Warriors games, or my English, another Dynasty Warriors game. If I do, it'll be 5, but not for a few months. Or maybe even a year. We'll see. Tom2639 says, if you could travel to any place in the world, where would you want to go? Definitely anywhere across Europe. Like Ireland or England, like Scandinavia. I'd love to see Eastern Europe. Well, I like to stay away from Belarus because I hear that's still a bit of a dictatorship going on there. But yeah, I love to see like a lot of parts of the world. Well, maybe not Ukraine either because of like the hotspot that's going on there. Not related to Wi-Fi hotspots, but like a lot of chaos going on there. I want to avoid that. Henry Martinez says, I'm just asking, will you ever do a Let's Play on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? Probably not, even though I can just turn off the music to avoid, content ID up the ass. I don't really think it's required for me to do a Grand Theft Auto game, even though they are fun to play. I just don't think they would fit on my channel. That's just who I am. Primeval... No, wait, actually, I'll just skip the question. Knight says, or Suki Kageno Knight, who, again, just wants to be called Knight, I should ask a video game question at some point, so I will, but not the way you think. Have you ever had a video game crush, like a girl from a video game that if they were real, you'd like to date? Maybe Shina Fujibayashi from Tales of Symphonia, because she is like a little bit of a klutz, but not too much of one. And, she dresses pretty interestingly. Anyways, that's just neither here nor there. Primeval XC says, Bonga, what are your thoughts of Nintendo adding Mercedes-Benz cars to Mario Kart 8 via DLC? I personally disagree with Nintendo doing this, but I'm curious on your thoughts or opinions. Oh, he also goes by the name of Primeval Yoshi, because his avatar is a Yoshi. And Mercedes-Benz DLC in Mario Kart, I could not care less because I believe that DLC is free. So in other words, you don't even have to get it. If Nintendo wants to put in Mercedes-Benz DLC, let them. I'd be okay with that. So it's not really going to affect me in any way whatsoever, to the point that I feel they should not do it. If they want to do it, let them do it. Personally, I like to see track DLC. Personally, I like to see character DLC. Kart DLC in Mercedes-Benz, that's fine too. I would not mind seeing some other tracks based on other characters that haven't been introduced yet. That would be quite fun. Malpercio450 says, why is it that your votes get so many downvotes? It's as if you have a group of rabid downvote followers following your every video. This is actually the first time, or one of the first times, that I actually acknowledge these downvotes, and you know what, it's probably just bots, so I couldn't care less. I got people that actually watch my videos, so that's good enough for me. So people can just hate away if they want to. I'm still going to do what I do. Goran Sakic also asked another question. Are you going to continue 3 videos a day, and did you find a job? 3 videos a day is just going to be on rare instances. And no, I did not find a job yet, though I'm still looking. Dustman says, what is your top 5 favorite Zelda games? If I said A Link Between Worlds, LP Gross is going to be upset because he does not like that game at all. Luckily, it's not there. Top 5 would be A Link to the Past, Minish Cap, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and probably Link's Awakening. That's what I'm going to say. As good as Skyward Sword is, it's not in my top 5. Somewhere in the top 10, but not in the top 5 for sure. Those other 5 games are better. Dustman also asks, what is your favorite and worst Mega Man Robot Master? My favorite is probably Shadow Man because, well, that's my avatar, and he throws ninja stars and moves around pretty quickly. Worst Mega Man Robot Master would be either Toadman because he's so easily exploitable to the point you can just stand perfectly still, shoot right next to him, and even rare instances, he won't even jump. He will just take the shots like an idiot. Worst Mega Man Robot Master for fighting without taking damage is Fireman from Mega Man 1, to the point he's almost impossible to avoid taking damage from. He can almost stun lock you with his attacks. It's that bad. But I'm just getting too ahead of myself. The Spinny asks, will you Let's Play The Elder Scrolls 1 Arena? I don't know, because I never played The Elder Scrolls 1 Arena. If anything, I probably won't be Let's Playing any Elder Scrolls games because even Morrowind is not that great on my laptop. Oblivion and Skyrim definitely not. Even though I heard Skyrim, the PC version, actually crashes some computers. And it's the Game of the Year edition too, so I don't have a lot of high hopes for it. William the Unpro Pro says, what inspires you to continue to do Let's Plays? Like, do you get bored midway through? And if so, what inspires you to continue the series? Also, what you said about your commentary, I watch you, I think, because of your specific, different style of commentary style. You don't really swear a lot, though I think you mentioned a while back that you used to. I like watching Let's Players that don't really swear a lot. Also, the games you choose are interesting to me. I especially enjoy the Mega Man-based games you've done and the Mario ROM hacks, but I'll settle for just about anything. I hope you won't settle for just about anything in marriage, man, but anyways, what continues to inspire me is just the fact that I just have a lot of fun playing games and just coming up with random stuff to talk about. Even stuff that's completely unrelated to do with the game. Though I only do so in rare instances. I've heard of some Let's Players that talk about random stuff the entire video. And that's a bit of a turn-off for me. I just don't like that. Because it's just like putting the spotlight on themselves and not on the game. Some games I do get bored midway through, like very long RPGs. However, I feel like if I quit at them, that nobody's going to take me seriously. So I figured I might as well just get it all the way through. And just like power my way through and hope for the best that the ending is going to be worth it. Animated Kid says, out of all the LPs you have done and finished, were there some that you maybe regretted Let's Playing? If not, what were some of your favorite games that you Let's Played on? There were some I regretted. The Lion King for the Super Nintendo is definitely one of them because I did very terrible at that game. And it was a very hard game, don't get me wrong. Just that I could have done so much better if I put like a little bit more work into it. It was just not a game that I would recommend playing blind or semi-blind because that game is hard. Big Mac Special Sauce says, hey Bong, I've been a fan of your work since early 2010. But anyways, why in the Bonga have you not done Mega Man 10? I mean, you really gotta finish up the Mega Man Classic series. There are some other games I've been waiting for you to do. Mega Man Legends and all 3 Streets of Rage games because I know you like beat-em-up type games. And that is true, I do like them. Mega Man 10 I'm not in any rush to do even though I got the game. It's just that I have a hard time finishing it. The Robot Masters and levels in that game are actually quite brutal compared to the other Mega Man games I've been doing. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm just looking at Lola there, just like stomach first on the floor, just staring at the door even though nobody's coming through it. But yeah, I'll eventually do Mega Man 10. It's just a matter of when. Zadalmalik011 says, I've been keeping in touch with your Let's Plays for 4 years. And gotta say, good work, pal. I have 2 questions for you. Is there any Castlevania game you like to LP nowadays? The first LP I saw you playing was Circle of the Moon, by the way. It's been a while since you Let's played Donna's Sorrow, which was on my Game Anyone channel. Castlevania, I might consider 64, even though it's been a bad game. And I do have Lament of Innocence. Once Bragg's 3DS capture card is a little bit more fine-tuned that I can use it, I do have Portrait of Ruin and Order of Ecclesia that I can consider in the future. And what about some MAME-style arcade games? I know you've been expanding Hero Horizons when it comes to actual game consoles. And, well, time ago, you used to make some side LPs, especially from arcade games. Someday I'll get back into arcade games, even though it's been a long time since I did one. Can't even remember what the last one was, to be honest with you. But they're not out of my horizon yet. If I can get Metal Slug 4 working, that would probably be my next arcade Let's Play in the future. The Death Post says, you do not seem really interested in doing Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne right now. That's an understatement. But would you consider trying out the Persona series? Probably not 1 or 2 because, well, I don't have them. But 3 and 4, especially Persona 3 FES, I do have. I would consider, even though I know I gotta put a lot of time into it. As for a Max Social Link run, I can't guarantee I'm gonna do one. However, it is a possibility because I know my fan base would not settle for anything less. Even though there's a lot of those out there already. Michael Lee, that's my last question. What is your opinion on the PS4 and the Xbox One and the games itself? Well, to be honest, I don't have much of an opinion, though I think the PS4 is going to do better than the Xbox One. But that's just my opinion because I don't really have any Xbox consoles, and I do have Nintendo and Sony ones. So, would I consider getting one of them? Probably the PS4, but I'd rather wait until I feel like there are games that are coming out that I can only get on the PS4 that I just have to play. I'm in no rush because I'm satisfied with what I have right now. So, these are all my questions. Wow, this was a lengthy Q&A compared to the first one because I got a ton of questions. So if you have any more you want to ask, feel free to do so in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.